Howdy hackers, and welcome to another episode of FairLight TV. So what you see here in the background now is a scan of one of the old disc covers that Hobbit did back in the days. So you had disc sleeves on your 5 1/4 inch discs, and this was one that we copied and spread with our discs rather than the original one. This time I want to conclude a little series of look into reassemblers. We've had a Regenerator, we've had 6502 bench, and this is sort of the last in the series. So this is JC64. Over to the program. Okay, here we have opened the file. On the left would be the tags for the source lines, and this is some sort of intermediate format, and this is the real native assembly format as it has generated it. So unlike 6502 bench, it doesn't do all the process manually. You need to set flags, and then you apply flags, and you see the results of it. So that's one of the things that's not really apparent when you're using the program. The other super annoying thing is that one of the things you would possibly want to do is something like, something like this. Okay, now I have selected something, and now I want to apply that to be data. And that will yield a result which is totally confusing for you, because it's only applying it to what is selected in this table. So you work with the table on the left, the rest is just stuff you see. So don't try to use those or interact with those to apply anything, because that would just yield you very strange results. Okay, so 09AE, that was the end of it. And we should scroll back to 09OD. Okay, like that. And now I can apply data. So memory, mark as data. And now that turned into data. Did it? Oh yes, so this was it. Okay, so it did a really good job in finding that this was code, and it started the automatic process of identifying what was code and what was not. So all of this was done basically directly. The only thing I have done so far is this. Yeah, to be honest, I haven't used this program super much. I've done a number of sessions with it, so I'm probably not the best there is to find your way through it. But I will show you a few things that at least I know. So you can, let's say you select, where are we? This memory, and you can mark it as data. But then it's he has implemented a menu of special categories of data, not plain vanilla data, but you're actually more specific. So yeah, sorry for mouse pointing here. Well, code base would be this. Word swapped would be high byte, low byte, I would assume. Try byte would be a 24-bit long thing, and long possibly then a 32-bit long. Mark as address, yes, that's absolutely important, because if you can't mark as address, you would just mark as a word. And but normally, if you're referencing something inside the program, you would like to mark it as an address. And I assume it also adds the reference to it. Mark as text, and then it has the number of supported text formats, and you have seen this in if you have seen the 6502 bench, that these are also options supported in 6502 bench. And yeah, there are a few places where it shows that this is not a person with English as his first language. Petaski is not it, right? It's Petsky, but okay, well, let's call it Petsky for the time being. You open and save. I think this is a multi multi-binary file. I'm not really sure. User comment, block comment. Yeah, let's do like a block comment here. Memory block comment. Oh, you didn't see that. It was on another screen. Hello, this is a block comment using multiple lines for the purpose of demonstration. All right, not too many errors. Okay, there we go. Became a comment with over multiple lines. User label, that is of course one of those. So this one, you want to have that as a user label, get byte. There you go. This was actually updated. So you click around in this and it navigates there. And a few of the things are applicable to the very instruction you're on, but not always. And yeah, let's say that is a bit confusing. Block comments and user comments, yeah, we've seen those. And marking as code and marking as data. Marking as garbage if you have a piece of crap and you want to kind of eliminate that. That's how you do it. Signing the selected address as +1. Sometimes you would like a reference that is +1 or -1. For instance, if you're referencing stuff that you would push to the stack, where the RTS would be minus or +1 or -1, depending on how you look at it. Assign the selected address as a low byte, and yes, and this is low byte and high byte. Yes, so this is the low byte and this is the high byte. Let's see if we can reference that. Okay, I haven't tested this, so I should prepare for stuff. So I'll make another segment of this. We'll just halt here and give me time to do a bit of exploration, and then I will be back after a brief pause. Okay, so after my exploration, I am now ready to take the next step. I managed to set this reference here to a label, to the low byte of a label. So the NMI is a user label that I've defined on the NMI address, or where the NMI is supposed to point after it's been set. And I can show you here. So again, clicking here on the instruction, and I would like to now set the 0A to point to the high byte. Don't do that. You need to go out here on the left and point to the OA, because you're not changing the A9. One would think that the program would understand that, but it does not. So you select the OA here, and then you go into selecting this as high byte. And of course, having two screens, it doesn't like, it places that on the other screen. And you see here the OADE. The OADE is my user label, the NMI. Okay, so pointing to that. So now we have a fully valid reference, low byte and high byte, to the label, the NMI. So that works. And here you have this, that is the very reference here. So great, so now we've tried to do that. That worked as well, fine. Okay, let's play a bit more with it. So general options, that screen is, or that requester is a bit too big to sort of fit on the screen, so I won't show you that. But what you can do is you can set the format you see on the right, the assembler format this is, and yeah, a number of those things. Have a look at the options, of course. You need to do that. You need to set the temporary path before you can even start to assemble with it. Apply the flags here. Well, you don't. That's probably done. I don't know what triggered that, but now it should have applied. So the flags here would be referenced here, and it will also be referenced here. View project. So this window is sort of the the opening screen. When you load the project, it has the name and all of that, and that's normally in the previous, when you load a file, again, the requester is the same. It just says load here rather than close. Options, view labels. Yeah, so these are all the automatically generated ones, including, and also the user labels. Source, disassemble. Yeah, I'm sure that did something. Yeah, so this is basically doing a disassembly based on the flags. I don't know what's different between that and applying the flags, but and then you can assemble it, or well, run the assembler here, and I don't know if I'm doing this wrong, but here I get an error because there is something wrong with the symbol. So it's running kick assembler. I've chosen kick assembler, and it's running kick assembler, but something here isn't right. It could be capital or smaller upper or lowercase here of the W. No, that will be the same as this. I have no idea what that is. Let's see if we can, if I select another assembler rather than kick assembler. So now I am, you don't see it because it, but I can throw it in for you. So it's here. This is the options menu. I'm setting this to use DASP now. Let's see if assembly, no, so the pseudo format it has with the settings you have, they are not supported by all the assemblers, and seemingly it's just throwing it as the assembler, and not all of them would work properly. So let's see if what we have done is actually working. TMPX, I'm not even sure I have that one installed, so let's see if we can assemblate that. No, I haven't defined that seemingly. Okay, this is really fun for you to watch when I don't have CA as well. I do have Acme, so that one should be installed. Yeah, also received a lot of errors on that one. Yeah. So, in summary, there are aspects of this that would be very interesting. There are a number of GUI or navigation issues. This second window in the middle, where you would like to kind of be able to select and apply stuff, that's not how it works. You need to do it using the little table on the left here, and then the assembly doesn't really work as I expect. I'm sure others would find it very, very handy, but for me, a few of those aspects are rather annoying. Yes, I can. Let's do this. I'll do. Yeah. So yeah, that's another thing. So I started selecting this, and I would like to go to the end of the file, but when I scroll here, it's the end of a 64K block. Let's say I'm not really interested in going to the end of the 64K block, but you can apply flags and stuff to areas outside of the file you have loaded. I'm not really sure why you would want to do that, but let's do this. Mark data, yeah, let's just do it to data, and there you go. Then it applied that as data. Did it apply it here as well? Yes, it's also applied there. So this applying of flags, I don't find any real logic in when that happens, but yeah, very handy. Is there anything else I should show you? Again, you did have the multiple data options. So screen codes. This a port of this was screen code, so I could possibly have chunked or selected that chunk, and then I would apply the screen code formatting on that. But again, it doesn't really look into what the assembler supports, so this pseudo format it's applying doesn't necessarily work for the assembler you're using, and you need to fiddle with that to ensure that you have it working properly. This is a Java program which has a few pros and cons. It's very portable, of course, but it's not really using the native functionality, and a lot of the navigation and GUI aspects might be quirks to you. So this is JC64, the disassembler part of that. It's a really promising program. I know I have been a bit complaining throughout the session here, but it does have very nice aspects, at least parts of it. And once you get a hang of that, you should work on the table on the left rather than the stuff in the middle. It becomes a lot easier. It's quite mature when it comes to the definition of data blocks you can have for it, and that is rather convenient. I should go back to that as well, because so you would have sprite definition and multicolor sprite definition. So that would be using 24 times or 3 bytes times 21, and then it will probably have a padding of the last byte. So formatting memory rather than just having a big chunk of memory, if you are aware that this is sprite, then you would like a formatting in a particular way, and that is pre-prepared, and that is a nice aspect, I must say that. I haven't found support for the logic logic PC here. It could be that I have overseen it, and it's there, but I just haven't found it. So let's try it and have a look at this. Compare it to Regenerated, compare it to 6502 Bench, and see which one you like best. And leave a comment down below which one you like and what is the pros and what would be the cons of each of them. Especially aspects I haven't brought up in the 3 episodes where we've covered these disassemblers. And that's it. See you next time in FairLight TV. Bye bye.